Yes, that's right. Another week, another Bleach chapter review with me, Captain Violence. Today, we live action. You already know what it is. Here to bring you this review of Bleach chapter 578 titled The Undead Five. So, of course, the chapter starts out. You see the meteorite fragments falling down on the Serite from when Kenpachi slashed it. Grimmy, he's just pissed off. He's in awe and disbelief and calls Kenpachi a monster. You see he's getting frustrated and pissed off. And at that point, Kenpachi goes on to tell him, like, look, I told you there's nothing my Zanpakuto cannot cut. So Grimmy, he goes on to make other clones. Kenpachi is like, you think this is going to make any difference? And Grimmy goes on to say, like, yeah, Motivator, it's going to make a difference because since there's nothing you can't cut, I'm going to make something that has no form. And he creates this void of space. You know, literally, you know, the mainstream version says a galaxy room. And he puts Kenpachi in there. And Kenpachi's basically in space, and he goes on to take the effects of being in space. You see the panel, all the blood and vomit and saliva, everything's getting gushed out. And Grimmy, he goes on to explain the effects of being in space. You know, talking about the mucous membranes, everything is sucked out like a vacuum. The open wounds will start to boil, your lungs will crush if you try to breathe, things that happen with your muscles, etc., etc. He said it'll be a slow and painful death. That's even if you're still conscious. So, excuse me. At that point, Grimmy, he goes on to think he has the upper hand, that he won. And we see Kenpachi, this guy cuts through the void, slashes one of the clones. You see the hand come out, he just breaks through, and then we see the other clones. They grab Kenpachi. It's like they self-destruct or blow up or whatnot, and the damage Kenpachi took over all of this, and we see all he has is just, I believe, the kimono part covering one of his legs, in a similar fashion with the Ichigo, when he went to fight Ukuyura, he went full hollow for the second time. Now, at this point, I'm thinking like, damn, like I wasn't surprised, but at the same time, I was a little shocked, especially with the space thing. But anyway, Grimmy, that just does it for him. I mean, he just goes, just ape shit. He's just thinking like, I can't believe this. I have to win. I never wanted to defeat someone ever before. I have to defeat you. I have to kill you. Like, you see these veins just popping all over his face. And he said, I have to become stronger than you. It's just simple. All he have to do is just imagine that. And he goes on to imagine it. Because he tells Kenpachi, like, you really are a freaking monster. So he imagined becoming stronger than Kenpachi. And we see this panel of Grimmy. This guy, I mean, neck split, ribs just open, bone popping out of his hand. Looks like a deformed, Incredible Hulk. And we see basically, like, his body can't handle it. He just rips apart and just falls and dies. And Kenpachi goes on to tell him, you made me out to be some unimaginable monster. And the funny thing is that unimaginable monster is what killed you. Because, you know, he was trying to imagine being stronger than Kenpachi. This has to be continued. Now, oh man, my thoughts on all of this. I'm not gonna lie, first time when I read this chapter, when I seen what happened, if he's actually dead, I was thinking like, you gotta be shitting me. Excuse my French. I'm like, out of all of this, like this was it? Like I'm thinking, but I had to calm down, I reread it, had to think about a few things, and my overall conclusion of the outcome of the battle, you know, I actually liked it. Now I'm gonna tell you what, hold on, I know, listen, hold on, listen. This is the thing, all right? Number one, the reason why I like the outcome, it wasn't predictable. Because to be honest, I thought it was going to end like two ways. Kenpachi cutting him down, or Kenpachi activating his ability, whatever it may be, whatever it is, and killing him with it. The typical way, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't that how damn near every villain dies, you know, in Bleach or other series? They die by the hands of their opponent. Normally that's how a fight should go, right? But not in this case. Because think about it. Grimmy, this character, no one will ever forget Grimmy. Is he one of my favorite characters? Hell no. Will he ever be? Hell no. Will he be in one of my top 20 of favorite Bleach characters? Hell no. Do I think that ability is cheap? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still would have did it a different way. But the way Kubo put a twist on it, I thought was interesting. The reason why I would have a little bit of respect for Grimmy is that Kenpachi could not defeat him. Kenpachi was surviving the things Grimmy was throwing at him, but Kenpachi still couldn't defeat him. Here we have a Kenpachi with a trained Kenpachi with the shackles removed, Zanpakuto named, you know, revealed. I mean, and Kenpachi still couldn't do it. Now, we see Kenpachi with the slash at him at first in the previous chapters. Ding! Then, you know, Kenpachi slashed him again. You know, drew blood. But this the thing. With Grimmy having his own imagination, being that as it will kill him, it does make sense. We see previous chapters ago, he almost died just by imagining himself losing. Remember that? So this does make sense. And the thing is, this is a proof positive as to what can happen when you have a very powerful ability and not a lot of experience. Or you don't really know how to handle. I mean, he's just an immature little punk kid thinking all these crazy things. I mean, finally I did think like, okay, now he's amping it up. Damn near lava. I'm not saying lava isn't deadly, but you know thinking of lava and closing him up and thinking of little pillars and Call of Duty weapons, all that type of crap. I'm like, okay, now he's amping it up, putting this guy in space. Kenpachi survived that. How did Kenpachi survive it? Look, I know there are people out there who are actually trying to figure this out and apply science to this fiction Japanese comic. That's something. To me, it's not that serious to go that deep into. Yes, it's a head scratcher. Like, damn, you can just chalk it up as this. Kenpachi's just that fucking powerful now. Take it or leave it. This is Kenpachi. Ever since he's been introduced, he's been known to just be that live action. I mean, this is Kenpachi of Motivating Zaraki. All right. But what is a shocker? This guy, the eye patch, he still have on the damn eye patch. But basically, I'm getting at both ways. They could not defeat each other. They couldn't defeat each other. This is someone because how can you defeat someone who can just think of anything? Think about that. I mean, whatever Kenpachi Shikai ability would have been, naturally it would have been the shonen cliche thing, or Kenpachi being happy and proud, just explaining the ability of his Zanpakuto, and Grimmy be like, oh, that's what it can do? Why just think of this? And then he'd be SOL. Because Kenpachi sure as shit don't have a bunkai. So it'd have been nothing. He doesn't use Kido. So he'd have been SOL either way. But I'm starting to think Kenpachi's Zanpakuto ability is just power-based, which will make sense. Because he just cut through the meteor. So it was said or implied. You know, we didn't see what he did, but, you know, it's just implied. And it will make sense. This is Kenpachi. But, of course, at first I was thinking, man, did Kubo think like, damn, did he kind of write himself in a corner to where he's like, uh-oh, I made a character who could think anything, so how can you kill someone who can just think anything? I know I haven't killed himself. I wouldn't necessarily think so because in one of the interviews, Kubo stated that this arc, he already had written and planned out. He said he had all the characters and designs, forms already just planned out. So, and another thing is that at first I was thinking he can't be dead. He can't be dead. We haven't seen his final holy form. But now I'm actually starting to think he's dead because now that I think about it, I used to think he really had a final holy form. I think he's officially dead. How can you have a final holy form with this? You can think of anything. How can you have a final holy form with this? Excuse me. Now, let's say if their final holy forms come from Juha as well. To me, it will make sense if Juha, when he gave him that power, all right, Juha was even smarter and was like, you know what? I'm not going to give you no final holy form because that would just be what the hell. Just like with Genjo. When he took Ichigo's powers, notice he gave Ichigo's powers to everybody except Tsukishima. Because imagine that upgrade. You know what? He probably would have actually killed Byakuya. Tsukishima with some of Ichigo's powers? Come on now, think about it. But, to my boy Kenpachi, damn. I was glad to see something new that Kenpachi survived. That was impressive. Kenpachi surviving the whole weapons layout of Call of Duty, that wasn't impressive. Him surviving, the pillars, come on now, the lava, I'm like, you know, but he just slashed that away. But him being in space and survive that, and this made me think about my homeboy Ichigo, because we know Ichigo is stronger than Kenpachi. Yes, he is. Contrary to your beliefs, at the end of the day, I said this before, at the end of the day, Kenpachi is nothing but a Soul Reaper. That's it. He's a very powerful Soul Reaper with vast amount of spiritual pressure and spirit energy. Yes, he's a legend. Very powerful, but guess what? That's all he is. Ichigo, he's everything in the whole series combined, with his full training and his new Zanpakuto, and a true bond with his spirit. You know, so, hey, So it's hella crazy. Matter of fact, it is sure as hell taking Ichigo a long time to get down to where it's at. I mean, yeah, like I said before, I know Byakuya, Ruki, and Renji left first, but at this point, come on now, Ichigo. I mean, he went skyrocketing head first, and I know Ichigo was faster than Ruki, Renji, and Byakuya. But yeah, overall, like I said, at first I didn't like the outcome, but looking at it now, I do understand the way how it happened, and it was just messed up. I mean, Grimmy, he just messed up. I mean, damn, he just, that goes to show, man, the mind is so powerful. The mind can even be your own worst enemy. Grimmy had a power, arguably the strongest power in Bleach. His power should be something the Spirit King should be doing. I mean, think anything and it happens. But yeah, he just messed it up. He dropped the ball, literally. Instead of doing all this stuff, he could have just made Kenpachi's bones into whatever. But then again, now that I think about it, Kenpachi survived in space. He probably would have survived his bones being turned into feathers. I mean, who knows? But damn, you just gotta have a strong mind. If he would have just played it cool, see, lack of experience and being weak-minded and not being used to having, being in battles, it's just, he was his own defeat. That's just messed up. But overall, this chapter was better than last week's. Next week, two things can happen. It could be a surprise to where Grimmy is still alive, or it can go into the next character battle. But if this is the end of the battle, then I will give my thoughts on that battle, on this battle next week. Actually, then I think it's Golden Week next week. I think there is no Bleach chapter next week, I think. But I have videos out next week anyway. But yeah, that's my thing about it, Lisa. Give me your thoughts on it. When you miss Grimmy, do you think he's dead? Do you think while he's falling and dying, he's thinking of himself getting healed? I mean, what do you think? Give me your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Again, thanks for watching this chapter review. If I won't be back next week, then I'll see you all the week after. Thanks for watching. Signing out.